Welcome back to another episode of the ICIS Energy Foresight podcast. Today with me is Tom Marzec-Manser, and we're going to talk about one of probably the hot topic of the moment for the gas market, Ukrainian gas flows. And we will try to do that without mentioning the other hot topic that is just hit the headline, Trump's re-election. Hi, Tom.
Hey, Matteo. How you doing?
Very good, thank you. So, I know it's going to be challenging, but I will try to ask you a few questions that do not revolve around Trump's re-election and his impact on the European gas market or the gas market in general. But if we look at Ukraine and we look at Ukrainian gas flows, there's a deadline there, which is the 31st of December. And there are a lot of scenarios that are still on the table. A lot of people expect gas flows to stop. That's probably what is the written at the moment, considering information that are available. But what are the two most viable options on the table that we see, Tom?
Yeah, so I mean, as you say, clearly the market view, if you want to put it that way, in the way that it looks like the market is being priced and TTF and other European hubs being priced, is that flows don't continue. So at 6 o'clock in the morning on the 1st of January, at the end of the gas day of the 31st, that flows will stop. That there will be no continuation of a transit agreement, effectively between Gazprom and the Ukrainian transmission system operator, with the volumes being moved by Naftogaz. The other option, and this is in fact the ICIS base case within our foresight model, is that flows do continue. We certainly model that pretty much the volumes stay unchanged certainly for the foreseeable year or so. There is, as you mentioned, a whole range of other options in between, in terms of maybe the volumes decrease a little bit, or even I've seen reference of higher volumes up to maybe 15 billion cubic meters per year. But yeah, our base case is pretty much that there'll be no change day on day as we move into the new year of 2025.
So effectively, we are going against the market view, which is quite a stance. And why do we consider that as the most likely option, Tom?
There are lots of reasons to this question. I guess one of them is that Ukraine isn't emphatically saying it can't happen. It's saying it doesn't want Gazprom or a Russian entity doing the transiting, but it's not closed the door on this as an option. And then that's clearly for strategic reasons. There may be things that Ukraine can get out of allowing the transit of gas from the Russian border to the Slovak border. That can be part of the wider conversation in terms of what's happening in Ukraine. So there's that, and then there is the role of different actors. So we've seen EU Stream, which is the Slovak TSO, be very pro continuation of transit. It's been part of the negotiations. It has its own transit agreement for Russian gas, which continues. So that one doesn't expire. So it really wants the Ukraine bit to continue, so that its own transit agreement remains useful. And just this morning, really, we've seen a little hint of that again, in the sense that SPP, which is the Slovak incumbent, just declaring that it has had some sort of imports of gas from Azerbaijan. I've not mentioned SOCAR and Azerbaijan yet, but it is one of the likely outcomes is that it is not Naftogaz of Ukraine that does the transiting of Russian gas through Ukraine, but SOCAR of Azerbaijan. So that's been a well-regarded strategy that the market has accepted in some shape or form. That is certainly negotiations around that. And as I said, with an announcement today, just that Azerbaijan or SOCAR specifically and SBP have been selling and buying gas to one another, again, it kind of hints that someone's trying to resolve something, make sure everything works, so that by the 31st of December and the 1st of January, they can put in place continuation of flows. And it probably will be, right? It probably will be literally the 11th hour, the closing days of December, that we will actually get confirmation of that. It means that my Christmas and New Year is probably ruined, but there we go. This is what happened 5 years ago.
Yeah, and so we are recording these in the middle of November. So these are the fresh news that we have available, and we will keep monitoring the situation. But what could actually change our view, Tom? What would need to happen to actually say, look, we were wrong, flows are gonna stop, forget about it?
Yeah, I think, as I said, that we keep on hearing in our view that Ukraine and the various institutions in Ukraine are keeping that door slightly open. So they would really need to emphatically say that something can't happen. And as far as I'm concerned, and as we're concerned here at ICIS and the Foresight team, that just isn't in play. We see continuations of, as I said earlier in the year, we saw SOCAR having conversations with the Ukraine TSO, BOTASH of Turkey, similarly having discussions with the Ukrainian TSO and looking at storage. So there's lots going on there. And until those institutions say, we're not entertaining this idea effectively, then we'll continue to keep Ukraine and the transit of Russian gas through Ukraine as our base case assumption.
And now the million-dollar question, Tom, because the market view effectively is no gas flows after January, and probably that's reflected in the current prices as you mentioned. What happens if you're right? What is the impact on prices, provided that obviously other conditions remain kind of the same?
Yeah, well, so maybe just on that first point, I mean, we are talking about for Q1 for winter delivery, half of winter the gas is arriving up until the end of December. So we're not talking about a huge amount of gas, right? We actually, for Q1 delivery, we're talking about 6 billion cubic meters being there or not being there. So in the orders of magnitude in terms of global LNG arrivals, outages, or indeed, the biggest of them all is the winter hot or cold, warm or mild. That those can have much bigger swings in terms of overall supply and demand balances. But be that as it may, we would argue that the analysis that we've done using our gas foresight model in terms of putting the flows in and taking the flows out and seeing what the optimization throws out, and also just looking at the evidence of the market behavior itself, that we're talking about probably anywhere between a 2 and 3 to 4 euro drop in prices. Every time we've seen an announcement which kind of hints at that Ukraine has got closer to permitting this process, or the parties have got closer to permitting this process, we've seen the market drop, and then as the different stakeholders officially say no, this is not happening, the market rises back up again. But it's been a tried and tested price movement, and we've seen it in the orders of magnitude between about 2 and 4 euro drop.
That's pretty interesting. So we have a month and something ahead of us to keep track of that. Thanks a lot for providing all this information and articulate our view, and specifically, more importantly, thanks a lot for never mentioning Trump even once. And as always, if you want to know more about Energy Foresight, please visit our website, icis.com. And thanks, Tom. To the next time.
Thank you.